What's up, guys? Got another great tutorial for y'all, and I just sent out a tweet not too long ago about how to make, this picture, but I didn't exactly say what it was. But it's these 45-degree angled circles, like this. And this is pretty much exactly what I tweeted out, so you can actually see all the different shapes and the rings and all that kind of stuff. But you can see all the different things that's been created over here using this very circle, including 45-degree angled arches. And it's just a matter of sitting there tinkering with it and playing with it to use it however you're wanting to actually use this. But so let's go ahead and dive right into the actual tutorial here. And basically, we create a circle using our add tool and a selection, and then reduce that selection down, 2 on each side, so we're literally reducing the full entire size of it by 4 voxels. So if you have a 28, we want to reduce it down to a 24 for the delete size. And we take the delete rounded tool and we delete out the center. And this gives us a hollow circle. And we have this shape pretty much after we're finished. It's like a little bowl, and the center of it's actually chopped out. Over here I have actually created like this little wall, and I've painted stripes on the sides of it so I know my spacing, and I've created this pillar in the center so that I can be able to attach to it. I've placed that half circle, or that half sphere, right here in the very center. And I've placed it right dead center, and you can tell if you're on point with this when you grab like one side, pull it over to the other, and just drag it out to where the outer boundaries of your actual sphere is. And I need to bring this down one more, but you can see that this edge is touching here. I got 23 voxels by 23 voxels. And I'm over here, I'm touching that very edge over here, so I know that I'm pretty much dead center for my 45-degree angle. Here to here. Now, what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to take my line tool and I'm going to make this really big, bigger than pretty much what I'm using here. And here in the center, I have 3 voxels, and then 3 voxels here, and then I have a line, and that line is basically where I'm going to be attaching to. So, and then right here on the floor you'll see a whole bunch of my diamond patterns down here, and they're probably kind of distorted because I've worked with it before, but that's going to be that half of a voxel space is kind of what I'm going to be aiming for. Now I take my line tool and I come over to my wall, and I put it right on my black line because that's where I want it to be actually sitting. And then I'm going to come over to my pillar, shift click, so I go into tweak mode. I'll pull this off to the side so that pattern right here is exactly the same all the way down it, all the way down to the inside wall here, to here. And if this was a regular voxel, it'd be just a half a voxel that you see here. But we're aiming for an exact 45-degree angle between the two walls that I have here. And I'm going to hit check. And I'm going to repeat the process over here on this side. So I'm going to bring this down and in. And I'm going to click there. Come over here, hold shift and click. And I'm going to line that line up again right with that purple line that I've created to here, like so. And that is going to give me another straight 45-degree angle on this side, and we'll click check. Now what that leaves me with is this right here. I have pretty much a smooth circle on the inside between these two lines that I have created using the line tool. I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm going to grab it somewhere over there, and I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to drop this all the way down until it almost hits the floor so I can pull out that center section. I'm going to hit copy, Let's bring it over here. And I'm going to paste. Bring this up a little bit and click. So now I have that circle on the inside of that there. And we can kind of delete out some of this little extra that I have, because it's probably just going to get in the way. My line tool acting a little funky. And hit delete, just so I can get in there and actually see it. Now, this next part here, I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm going to select the voxels that are right here on the very end. Hit copy. I'm going to hit paste, and I'm going to bring these up into the air and paste them out so we can actually look at this here. And I have pretty much an exact copy of that little corner there. And I might need to bring this out just a hair more on this side so I can get them all. Copy, paste. And this is going to be the beginning point for my circle. Alright, so there's my two edges of my circle. Now, once we get to this point here, I want to go ahead and start reducing my size and bring this out. So it's a 1 by pretty much a 3 voxel, 5 voxels deep. So let's go a little deeper with this, so we can go all the way down and catch the whole entire thing if possible. But the idea here is to actually pull out those voxels that we actually need to recreate this here. And I'm going to probably tinker around with this a little bit just so I can get this lined up and get it into position right where I need it. There we go. And I'm probably going to end up missing a few of these voxels, which is probably not the best thing in the world, but the idea is pulling this out pretty much one piece at a time to recreate that center voxel, or that center design work here. And once I get to a point where I've created pretty much everything here, we just got to start going down the line with it. And this is usually the one point that actually takes the longest in the reconstruction of that circle. So bear with me a moment while I get all this kind of in place. Okay, so I've basically recreated that little corner piece, and now we just need to go procedurally from one side all the way to the other in an angle. So let's go and jump on it now. So now I have my 1 by 5 by 9, and I'm going to go in one, copy, paste. I'm going to bring this one right up against that other one we pulled out. Get this thing lined up here. And like I said, procedurally just going down from one side to the other, just like this. We can actually probably pull this one side out just a little bit more. So we'll copy that, just so we are trying our best to grab as much of it as possible without grabbing that dark gray that we've used to create the rest of it. All right, and rinse and repeat. In, copy. There's the next piece. In, copy, paste. And this is the hardest part of this, is actually just getting all the stuff kind of taken out and lined up the way we want to. in, copy, paste, in, copy, paste, in, copy, paste, in, oops, one, two more, copy, paste, in, copy, paste, and like I said, it's kind of a rinse and repeat from here just to kind of finish this up. But once we actually get this done, we've actually got a half circle that we can actually play with, and we can actually use to actually create something that a lot of people have really been wanting to do, which was 45-degree angled arches and that sort of thing. So there we go, we got that. Now I still had this little messed up angle here on this side here, but that's not a problem because now we have a pretty much finished end over here. So we can grab that whole thing now, pull it out, grab here, we'll copy that, paste it here. I'm going to hit V to mirror, tab, V to mirror again so we can actually mirror it on to the other side. Drag that over to where we need it, down, and click. So now we have a pretty clean looking half circle there, and I've got a little divot here, but it's just a matter of copying a piece off this side and double mirroring it to put it on the other. So let's go ahead and do that while I'm here. And pull it out, copy, paste, mirror, tab, mirror. And then we'll just get that put into our position here, and we'll be almost done. If I can get it into position. There we go. So now we have a half circle. And if you wanted a full circle, just copy that, paste it up on top. If you wanted an archway, instead of selecting pretty much the whole thing, you'd select just half of it, and then you basically put one point to the other point like this, and then fill in the center between the two. And you can actually come together and make some really cool things out of these half circles here. You can actually just take it to the point of only doing a quarter circle and still come out doing pretty much the same thing. So with this, hopefully somebody makes something really cool out of it. So give it a try, guys. I'll see y'all next time.